Thank you very much, Professor Mahapatra, for that introduction. Let me also thank Manipal University, Jaipur, and Jasol Dialogue for hosting this webinar. As our chairperson pointed out, we are passing through a period of intense stress in India-China relations with a lot of heat and not enough light about what's happening in border areas. But let me make one point at the beginning that even before border incidents have caused a sharp downturn in India-China relations, this relationship was under pressure. It's a complex relationship which is characterized by both cooperation and competition. We have seen good progress in different areas, but the fact remains that India-China relations are troubled by a host of unresolved issues and irritants, including the boundary question, massive trade deficit for India, growing footprint of China and India's neighborhood that Shakti referred to, China's increasing insensitivity to India's concerns, interests, and aspirations. There are, in fact, deep concerns in India about China's aggressive behavior and its wolf warrior diplomacy. As a result, China-India relations are prone to turbulence. This is one point we need to take note of. But a relationship which was already difficult has been very seriously impacted by what on the Chinese side, which we can discuss during the Q&A session if you like. There's one silver lining in this highly unstable situation, and that is diplomatic and military channels are still active and efforts are being made to resolve the present standoff. Understanding, as you know, was reached in Moscow between Foreign Minister Jaishankar and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on 10th September, a five-point understanding which offers a faint glimmer of hope for disengagement and de-escalation, but I'm afraid it's going to be a protracted process. The outcome of the process is still uncertain. Now, in my assessment, the basic paradigm of the relationship has broken down, and we have to find a new equilibrium or modus vivendi with China. Let me flag 5 areas where I expect to see modification or recalibration of our China policy. 1, over the past 3 decades, India and China have followed the policy of compartmentalizing the boundary question and other outstanding issues and professing not to let them come in the way of development of the relations. This basic policy has now run out of steam. If India-China relations have to resume on a positive trajectory, we have to make progress on accumulated issues and irritants. Just managing differences would not do. 2, we must reiterate to the Chinese side an old understanding that maintenance of peace and tranquility is an essential prerequisite for development relations, and neither side should change the status quo along the LAC. If the Chinese refuse to restore the status quo ante as of April this year, we should be prepared to take a fundamental review of our relationship with China. I think this message needs to be driven home very clearly to the Chinese side. 3, there is talk of economic decoupling with China, which to my mind is neither feasible nor advisable. At the same time, we must make determined efforts to reduce economic dependence on China. The current excessive and untenable dependence in certain areas was already in focus in the wake of the COVID pandemic, which has exposed vulnerabilities of the global value chain and underlined the need for greater supply chain resilience. India is not alone in thinking of reducing its dependence on China. It will also be in our interest to keep Huawei, ZTE, other Chinese entities out of the 5G network in India, as many other countries are doing. 4, the COVID pandemic and the aftermath of border clashes will inevitably impact the growth of people-to-people links with China. I expect to see a sharp fall in the number of Indian students in China and the two-way traffic. Finally, let me acknowledge that we have entered a far more challenging phase in our relations with China in the wake of the increased assertiveness of China in the COVID era. China appears to consider the present period as a strategic window opportunity to expand its influence. China is the first major economy to start growing in the wake of the pandemic, while all other large economies, including the USA, European countries, Japan and India are struggling. Thus, China has a relative advantage. At the same time, as Shakti very rightly pointed out, China is faced with number of serious challenges. Uh, so what it has before it, a relatively narrow or limited window opportunity, which it's prepared to aggressively seize to advance its perceived interests, even at the risk of antagonizing others, including India. Now, given our huge and growing capability gap with China, we'll have to work with others to counter increasingly aggressive China. As China is our largest neighbor, as Shakti suggested, we must continue to engage with it. There will be elements of cooperation and competition in our China policy. At the same time, they must be prepared to counter and even contain China, working with other countries which are similarly concerned about China's behavior. We need not be unduly mindful of China's sensitivities in this regard, as China has not been mindful of ours. At the same time, must bide our time and join issue with China only selectively and not across the board. It's not in our interest to seek confrontation with China. Equally important, we'll have to invest in enhanced deterrence to discourage China from springing more Galwans on us. Let me conclude here by pointing out that the China policy has to change, as China had changed and taken directions which are not conducive to our interests. Thank you.